Boy, my marriage is rough, I tell you. The other night I said to my wife, when are we going to make love? She said, the only way you're getting laid is if you climb up a chicken's ass and wait. 5, 4, 3. Hey, Trekkers, and welcome to another episode of Trek Tonight. We are here thrilled to have our good buddy Keith Jacobson with us. And we've got a great episode to talk about.
We do.
I don't know about you guys, but I thought it was awesome. And that is great. And I did want to warn you all that we will be losing.
It's not my day.
Oh no, poor Leo. Yeah, Leo's had a rough day, but we will be saying spoilers for episode 7. So if you have not seen the episode, you might want to turn us off and go watch that episode. And then
really, what the hell are you doing here if you haven't seen the show?
Exactly. Come on back and enjoy all the scintillating conversation that was before you.
These conversations anyway. It's scintillating.
Yeah.
We hope.
Also, if you do like that scintillating conversation and you are want to support the program, want to help us with our algorithms, help us with the folks at YouTube, please remember to like and subscribe and hit that bell if you need a reminder as to when we're on. Although most of you know that we're on Wednesdays and Thursdays at 8:00, but that's there to give you a notice. So that's great. Hey guys, how's everybody doing? I know we've all sort of had a rough day today. We were talking about that in the green room, but for the on-air crowd, how's everybody doing?
I'm here on, I'm walking, talking. I'm sorry, I'm still Leo's line. I'm breathing. Yeah. I watched a very great episode of the show, the show we're here to talk about. Star Trek Picard. That's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the show.
Yeah. I know that. Hey, look, we've already got comments. Hang on.
Neat.
Angela is here. Angela says,
hi, Angela.
Woohoo. Angela, good to see you. Very excited that you're here. Let's jump in with our first general impressions. Leo, what are your general impressions of the episode?
I enjoyed this episode. There was there were a couple of times I was convinced somebody was going to die.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
There were a couple of moments I felt like, oh, are they going to kill that person off? That would be
yeah.
But I did enjoy it. Although, of course, the real question, bit of a spoiler. Again, we said spoilers, full spoilers. Is
you're clear.
We don't know precisely what the deal is with Jack. And we're kind of left on a cliffhanger as to what he is.
Yeah.
Which, clearly not an accident, but it's a little like you kind of want some answers. We got some answers today.
Yeah.
But not necessarily about him.
That's true. Hey, I just want to tell you, our dear old friend, Mike Robin, is here. He gave us a thumbs up. Mike, good to see you. And we also got one from Angela, but we know Angela's here. How about you, Keith? General impressions.
I like, as far as an episode that was don't get me wrong, there was action in this episode, lots of it actually,
sure.
But it was also very exposition heavy. You know, there was a lot of exposition dropped us, but it was dropped on us in an entertaining way.
Right.
And regarding the cliffhanger, I get why that's done, but come on, we're all coming, but we're all going to watch the show again. They could have said something, even if just like Jack is a changeling, or Jack is a
Borg.
robot, or Jack is a.
Yeah.
And we still would have come back, but we still would all be back next week to find out the details of what that meant.
Well, of course we would, Keith. But as we said in the program last night, we would pretty much watch anything.
I think anybody. I think not just us, not just the three of us, because while they would be well served to design their show around our viewing habits,
of course.
I'm pretty sure anybody who has watched Picard up to this point, even if they don't have a talk show with scintillating conversation in it, anybody who's watched Picard up to this point will still be back to find out more details on whatever the hell it is Jack is.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, let's face it. My general impression, especially after having seen this particular episode, is I'm reflecting back on the first 2 seasons of Picard. It is very clear to me when I put those 2 seasons together with the
You're gonna
first
knock
season.
my book over, aren't you? Of course you are, you asshole.
With the first season.
Do you feel good now?
When I put all of those episodes together, I mean, from the first 2 seasons of Picard and what they did with Discovery in the very beginning, it's very clear to me that Paramount has learned how to create Star Trek again.
Mm-hmm.
Because what we're looking at now is excellent Star Trek, in my opinion.
Yes.
And you dovetail that on the end of how great Strange New Worlds was, and then the animated stuff in between, and I just think they've really hit their stride. And we learned in the news today that we're going to get down the road 2025, but we're going to get our Starfleet Academy show they've been talking about.
Neat. Yes.
Hold on, I'm being called away.
Okay, that's fine, Leo. But so I think all of that, I think we're very fortunate as Star Trek fans.
We are.
To have these programs. So, okay. We know.
And by the way, you are right. I would watch an hour of ship porn. I mean, really, just give me an hour of beauty shots of various starships, and I would just sit there going.
Yeah, right, exactly. Hey, Craig Lubin says it's not Mike Robin, it's a changeling. Are you sure about that, Craig?
I'm not so sure. Since when did we see a changeling with mental powers?
Yeah, I will know when I trip him up on something we did that he doesn't know about at the Dwight Repertory Company. That was okay. Let's talk about that, because that was close up to the beginning of the show. The communication with Tuvok. Now,
yes,
very cool. First of all, great to see Tim Russ back again.
Indeed, it was.
Okay, great to see that.
I literally said out loud when he was on the screen, I literally said, Tuvok!
Yeah. And it was great. He hadn't missed a beat. Character was exactly where you'd want him to be and expect him to be. And I loved, as we've said throughout the whole series, that there were our musical cues. Mm-hmm. So when Seven first thinks that he's the real Tuvok because of talking about, what's the game called that they play?
Don't remember
the Vulcan game. I forget to, but she first mentions that, and he knows what she's talking about, and then you hear that little Voyager theme dropped in. It's a little touch of the Voyager theme dropped in, but then it's a roller coaster, because what happens next? He gets something wrong, and she knows it's not really him.
Yes.
And I thought that was fantastic. Talk about misdirection.
And then he goes all mustache twirly villain on us.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't know. I thought the Tuvok scene was great.
Yes.
Were there any moments early on, straight up in the beginning, that you really enjoyed, Keith?
In the very beginning, well, I mean, my favorite bit in the beginning was Tuvok, and I really liked how they were handling that. Seven is talking to Tuvok, and then we're looking off to the side where they've got everybody else off screen so that they're not in the views, like kind of like my hands are right now.
Right.
And and they're doing voice print analysis on one side, Picard's on the other side.
Yeah.
And Seven keeps looking, from left to right, and
yeah,
and then again, we think it's really Tuvoks.
Not Tuvok. No, not Tuvok, please. Yeah.
We really and you're right. The Voyager theme starts playing, and I'm just sitting there going, "Yay, yay!" And then,
yeah. We were talking about the Tuvok bit. Hey, Scott Taylor's here, by the way. Scott, good to see you. We were talking about the Tuvok bit, Leo, and I was just saying what a great little roller coaster it was, because you started with them talking about, she asked him a question about the game. He answers correctly. You hear the little Voyager theme come in there. You think everything's all right, and then she starts talking about, I've forgotten something about the mind meld, and and then she realizes it's not really him.
Yes.
How did you feel with that whole opening?
It was definitely you're not sure. Like, is it
right?
One, it's cool to see Tim Russ again.
Yeah.
In Tuvok, even though not really Tuvok, as it turns out.
Right.
But there's that moment when he's found out, and there's that little smile that sort of like plays on his face.
Yeah. Yeah, and then at the end he shifts into Will Riker, which was really kind of creepy.
Yeah, and like a really like deathly Will Riker, sort of zombie Will Riker.
Yeah, it was like zombie Will Riker. Yeah, it really was. It was like awful. He looked terrible, and I think that was supposed to be frightening. Like, it was supposed to be like, yeah, we've kicked the crap out of him, and this is what we've got to work with. I mean, that was my takeaway from it. Was like, that's why he looked so awful. But were we supposed to believe that that Will Riker was able to get a message across to them? Is that what we were supposed to believe?
I think what happened. Well, you look like you're about to talk, Leo.
No, you go on.
Okay, I think what happened is so he's being interrogated, probably roughly. Right. And one of the things they said is, we need to find your ship. Give us the affix, the prefix code.
Right.
And so they have a special prefix code that if the ship receives that prefix code,
right,
it tells the ship that, yeah, I've been compromised.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think that's what happened. I mean, I don't think Riker got a message to them. I think Riker, under interrogation, gave up a code.
Right.
Probably under threat to Deanna.
Yeah.
Right.
And gave up a code. And
we all know that it's a code that
is
not secure on purpose.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It says, yeah, don't trust this. Don't trust this message, because I'm not, I'm compromised. I'm a prisoner,
Right.
So I don't think we're meant to believe that Riker got a message off.
Right.
At least directly.
And well, it also seems to hold up that that's actually Deanna and not a changeling.
Yeah.
Right.
True.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people are like, "Oh, she's a changeling." That was everybody's theory last week.
Yeah.
But again, I just thought about it because, like, look how easy it is to trip a changeling up. Seven was able to trip up Tuvok. Ursat's Tuvok, and
also the Ursat's Sidney LaForge.
The Ursat's, right. So Ursat. So it's like, I'm pretty sure that two people who know each other as well as Will and Deanna,
right,
would be able to trip each other up pretty quickly.
I would think so, yeah.
So I'm confident that really is Deanna in there. And
okay,
yeah,
good, yeah. All right, so we go through that now. as a result of that, they're able to lure Captain Vedic. Oh, let's talk a little bit about Captain Vedic, because Captain Vedic, I'm beginning to have some theories here. Something about, and I was joking with the guys earlier in the green room that that her handler is starting to remind me of who is it again?
Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider a little bit. He's got that flaming skull quality. But
Yeah.
I'm beginning to theorize, based on things he said to her that were meant to be mean and nasty, I don't think he's a changeling.
No, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
Because you're not as unique as you like to think you are.
Right.
So the question is, who is pulling her strings?
Is it possible? I'm going to throw this out there that it's somebody from the Jem'Hadar that somehow or other has got.
I don't think so.
I find that. I mean, maybe I find that hard to believe.
Yeah,
if we're going to talk theories, I mean, there's a point we need to jump ahead to that I think is an important clue. I just can't quite figure out what the clue means.
Okay, well, go ahead.
All right. So, to fast forward through the plot briefly, they lure Vadic there. They have a plan. They trap a bunch of changing. They trap Vadic. Vadic's being interrogated in sickbay with Picard and Beverly, and then Beverly and Picard are talking to each other. And Beverly says to Picard, "Look how calm she is. She has a plan."
Right.
And she is calm. She apparently does have a plan. And meanwhile, down in engineering, Lore is taking control of the ship, which implies to me that Lore was the plan, which means she knew, not only did she knew Lore was on the ship, but she knew Lore would be attached to the Titan.
Right.
Which means, how did she know Lore? I was going to be available to help them.
I don't think she did, because she came over with a bunch of her goons.
Right.
And I think she has more goons than just the one she came over with. She didn't like.
Oh, I'm sure she does. Yeah.
But the thing is, remember, Lore says, enemy, my enemy, and you know the rest.
Right. Right.
As Geordi says, it's the chaos is the point.
But how did Vadic know that Lore was going to be creating chaos?
It's a very good question. It's a very good question, Keith.
But it's implied by the conversation between Beverly and Picard that she did know, because Beverly's going, she has a plan, and the only plan we see happening is the chaos created by Lore.
Except that they. It's funny because they're having this conversation 20 feet away from her, or 10 feet away, which to me seems like I would leave the room and close the door. Because she's close enough to hear what they're saying.
Right.
Clearly.
Logic.
Clearly. I almost thought that had to be done on purpose, because otherwise, how stupid are they?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure why I just got this from Craig. But Craig's going back to the compromise prefix code. They called it a compromise prefix code, proving how continually bad Starfleet system security is in the 21st century. No, I thought it was done on purpose, Craig. I do think that the prefix there are other issues with the prefix code in Wrath of Khan, but that's a whole other subject, and I'm not going down that rabbit hole right now. But yeah, no, I thought it's sort of like when Kirk ends up using a code that he knows the Romulans have cracked.
Right.
And he's doing it on purpose in order to make the Romulans, to misdirect the Romulans. So I think it's that kind of a thing.
Okay. I really don't think she knows that Lore is on board. I think she's they took advantage of that moment. But remember, Picard and Beverly were basically something the younger version of them would not do. They were like, she's not giving us any information. We got to kill her. They don't say it in those words, but and I think she reads them pretty well.
Yeah.
And I think she, as a result, she was just waiting for them to drop the barrier. And then she gooed out of the room.
Right.
So I think that was her plan, was to wait for them.
But fascinating. I mean, I know, Keith, you didn't like the idea that there was a cliffhanger, and I know in the green room, Leo said earlier that a lot of questions were still yet unanswered.
And that's the main one, yeah.
Yeah, but I do think it's brilliant how they laid out through Vatic why the changelings are doing this.
I agree.
Why they're aggravated. And somebody was effing with them in a kind of a sinister way. And I'm not sure who these people were.
Probably
and I
Section
love the
31.
fact
that seems like a Section 31 kind of thing.
Yeah, I love the fact that she patterned herself on her torturer.
Yeah.
I thought that was brilliant.
I think
reminded me a little bit of Odo patterning himself on the person that found him.
Right.
It's like a positive version, and this is like a negative version.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. So what did you think of that? That wasn't anything I expected.
No, it was interesting because we got to see, the question is, how do they come to this new state of being?
Yeah.
And of course it is, it just shows why she hates the Federation.
It was engineered by them in a lab. Angela, great point. I think her whistling implies that she knows that this version of Data is there. Although the whistling did come from her captor as well, her tormentor.
Three blind mice.
Yeah, the three blind
mice. If there's a significance beyond that, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But sort of going back to the Data, because we saw there was an earlier scene before they board the ship, Vatican crew, where they're trying to talk to Data and get some information from Data, and Lore keeps, popping in and sort of fighting for control. And they're like, Geordi says, listen, if we bring down the barrier, because there's a divider between the two personalities.
Right.
It's like, it's possible we'll lose Data forever. Says, I don't think I could lose him again.
Yeah.
And Picard agrees. But he does come back as Lore and, becomes dominant. And that's why he's screwing around with the force fields where they trap the changelings, now, and he has a great scene, Geordi, basically, you were my best friend. You taught me how to be a better man.
Oh yeah, that was a real grabber there. It was. Yeah, that was good. Yeah, just the idea that because you always knew that Geordi and Data were friends.
Yeah.
But this really hammers home exactly what Data meant to Geordi, which I don't know he ever truly expressed.
I'm not sure either, but I always sort of consider them sort of best friends because they hung out a lot.
Yes. Yes. I agree. Geez, I was going to go somewhere with that, and it slipped out of my mind. But at any rate, I thought that was really neat, and I also it was interesting that because one would automatically think that kind of emotional pleading, that kind of opening and exposing yourself, that Lore would have considered that a weakness, scoffed at it, but he really didn't, which I thought was kind of interesting. In the end, do you think Lore let Data come through because of that?
I don't know.
No, you don't think so?
No, I think
Data was able to become dominant.
I don't know.
Lore has always been he's a villain, but he's done some really terrible things.
Yeah.
But he's a villain part of him that is sort of this damaged child who just wanted to be loved.
And Sung made him all kinds of promises that he never fulfilled.
Yeah.
So he's done terrible things. Yes, he's definitely not necessarily a good guy, but he's got some reason for the chip on his shoulder. I'm just like Vatic has some reason, clearly, chip on her shoulder. I don't know. It's an interesting pairing, and I think that it's now. Let me ask you this question, just to be devil's advocate here for a moment. is this a cheesy way of getting Data back into the show after we all dealt with him dying last season? Or is it a good way to get him back into the show?
I mean, it's not as cheesy as it could be.
Right.
Because he settled with Lori as this sort of like Jekyll and Hyde thing going on. So it's not like a clean, return to Data.
Right.
It's problematic at best.
Right.
So
I think what they're going to do is I think Data is only back temporarily. I think what they're going to do is they're going to find a way to integrate the personalities together.
Right.
And we're going to end up something new that is neither Data nor Lore.
Yeah, you might be right, Keith.
Yeah.
Hey, while we've been yakking, we've gotten a thumbs up from Andy McCann.
Thank you, Andy.
Andy.
John Van Gonstein, Joe Townsell, and then, of course, Scott, Angela, and Mike. So
these are all people with stellar senses of what's good.
Yes. They have superb taste.
We're thrilled you're here, and we appreciate your support. And the thumbs ups are great. Anyway, believe it or not, we're almost at the half-hour mark.
Damn.
And that tells me it's time to go to commercial, folks. So let's hold on to your thoughts, and we will be right back after these words.
Mego presents the Star Trek action figures featuring the crew of the Enterprise. Captain James T. Kirk, their fearless leader. Dr. Bones McCoy, caring for the health of the Enterprise crew. Scotty, the chief engineer, in charge of the transporter room. Mr. Spock, the Vulcan, second in command. Lieutenant Uhura, the communications officer. And new for 1976, the aliens, Klingon. Their evil threatens the universe. Gorn, half human, half beast. Charon, is he good or evil? Neptunian, dangerous in space and in his own watery habitat. And the Keeper, his incredible intellect threatens the Enterprise. The Star Trek Alien. Star Trek action figures, complete with accessories shown. Each sold separately from Mego.
Wow.
Neptunian and the Keeper.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't realize that Gordon was half man, half beast.
No.
I did not either. And by the way, who knows? I've been pronouncing that name wrong all these years. It's Lieutenant Uhura, not Uhura.
Right.
Uhura. I've been wrong all these years, and I didn't know. Damn. You know what? Here, that's just it. I have to take this off because if I'm getting that wrong, I don't deserve to wear that badge.
Not only is I'm sure you misspelled the name Scotty too. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Written as a isn't that how you write the name of a dog?
Yes.
Was it IE?
IE, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's
Scotty. Yeah.
Obviously, someone more worthy than me needs this.
That's. I mean, listen. The copy was thin. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Charon, is he good or evil?
Yeah. It was like, when they had like regulated, but then the Keeper and the Neptunian, dangerous in space and also in his watery domain.
Yes.
Where
was he from? Was he ever in the show?
No, the last two were completely just like padding.
Yeah, but isn't the Keeper sort of a blend of what's his name's alter ego from I thought he was a blend of that and from the Cage.
Well, they were kind of rocking that sparkly robes with the high collar.
Sparkly robes with the big egghead.
Yeah, the Telosians.
Yeah, all right, Telosian.
Why not just make a Telosian figure and not, it just felt like those last two were put together with like stuff they had left over in the warehouse.
Yeah, and the thing of it is, I mean, actually, the sculpts on the crew on the heads for Kirk, Spock, McCoy, and all that. They're all very good, actually. They're surprisingly
they weren't
good.
bad, actually. I was surprised, actually, how good those were.
Yeah, they're surprisingly good. But I mean, like, okay, so with Star Wars action figures, you had a much greater variety of things that were actually in the movies.
Yeah.
Whereas with these, you only had a small offering of figures and stuff. But the sculpts on the main characters were very good. So I don't know. Anyway, enough about that. Let's see. Where are we here? So, guys, was there anything that you didn't care for in this episode? We never really talk about that.
I don't think there's anything I didn't care for. I enjoyed the whole episode. There was a lot of back and forth as to what's going on. There was a, even earlier on, Beverly is like, there may be a medical solution or biological solution to dealing with this, but I'm conflicted about the morality of it. And that seems to be sort of a theme of this episode of, like how far can you go in order to defeat your enemies?
Right.
So, although she does discover there's a trace element used in experimenting on them, and they were able to locate them.
Right.
And just as a little notation, when they first go on the ship with Vadic and her soldiers go on, and she has the thing on her little tricorder kind of dealie, and it's making those beeps like from like I think it's Wrath of Khan, that like ding, ding, ding.
Yes, I noticed that too. Yeah.
Which I always love, a little old school sound effect.
Yeah, I liked that. We're gonna give that a Genesec gem. I think that was a neat little thing to pick out. But I thought that was cool. I also liked that gizmo, and I love the screen, and I love being able to see the Titan on there. So that was kind of cool.
I think there's a thing we should probably talk about, because I'm still trying to piece together what's going on with Jack.
Yeah.
Right.
It looked like Jack was able to not only read
Sidney LaForge.
Yeah, Sidney LaForge's mind, but was he actually able to take control of her?
That's what it looked like.
That's what it looked like, and that's not a changeling power.
No, he is not a changeling. I don't care what anybody says. He is something.
Yeah, he's not I don't know what he is
entirely. Yeah, he is
if
something
he's not a changeling, I don't understand why the changelings care about him.
Because I really do think they want to take his abilities and his DNA and blend them with Picard's in order to build a super Locutus. That's my.
That is the theory. Although I have another. This is not anything I've read. This is just a weird theory.
Yeah.
Is the person who's doing this is maybe somebody a compromised member of Starfleet.
Yeah,
like not compromised by outside powers, but somebody who's like, we have the Badmirals, which we've seen a lot of, the bad admirals.
Yeah. Angela says that he thinks he just fed her the moves. And
that's fine. Yeah, that's
I'm not sure she was mind controlled, but he was like, follow my lead. And I think because she could hear his thoughts or his impressions, she was able to do it.
Yeah, because he was saying things like roll,
Right. Yeah. Okay. Fine. I'll buy that, but that still is a new power that we haven't seen before from anything.
Exactly.
And his eyes sort of glow red. I don't recall ever seeing that.
Cindy's was glowing red at one point. Well, there was essentially linked. There was a scene where we got a close up of Cindy's eyes, and her eyes were red as well.
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on. It is a mystery, and the Vatican is, I'm going to take you someplace so much better, and he's like, where? And she's like, well, it's so much better if I show you. And get in my Aunt Mark's van. Enjoy this candy.
The same thing. I was going for the same line.
Yeah.
So that was. And transporters. What's up? Go ahead.
Angela says they are totally going to smash.
Well, one would hope.
Yeah. I love what he's sitting there and he's saying, so what are your quarters like?
Subtle, smooth.
Yeah, right. Exactly. How smooth is he? He's like, I found a pretty good suite myself.
Yeah.
He's been taking notes from my He's been taking notes from me, which it's okay.
Yeah.
He's probably more.
Oh, Keith. Craig says that they need a liberal use of Visine.
And that might clear everything up.
Yeah, either that or that. You know what how you adjust a photograph with red eye. You know.
Yeah.
You think in the 25th century they'd be able to solve that red eye problem? Yeah, I don't know.
Taking a lot of like instant camera photos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like 1970s. Yeah,
disposable cameras.
Yeah, right. The old flat Insta thing I used to have.
Yeah.
With the little cube.
Yeah.
Flat.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
My very first camera. Damn.
Me too. Me too. I took a lot of unflattering pictures of my relatives with that.
I bet they loved seeing you come to come.
Oh yeah. Well, there are.
Damn. Here's Christopher with that damn camera.
All right. About 70% of them were very nice, and then I would get these pictures that were just terrible angles on people, and I had a special page in the back of my photo album just for those. It was the wall of shame. That was my section in the back.
Neat, actually.
The pictures that amused me in a very evil way as a child. Anyway, yeah, I know. I'm really kind of stumped because I think we're going to see. I'm hoping we're going to see something new that we haven't seen before, and that's
I think so. But I wonder if it'll be tied to something we've seen, like not directly, but
right, maybe.
And transporters. This is the. They do not want to use the transporters.
Right.
What is up with the transporters and the changelings?
Well, we have speculated that the transporters are how they end up duplicating people.
But when she is going over to board,
right? She says shuttles, no transporters.
Yeah. Shuttles, no transporters. Why would they? They're not playing.
The changelings did beam back on, like the ones on Rose shuttle.
Right.
That's true.
Beamed back onto the Titan.
Right.
So.
Right.
I don't know. There's a lot of questions that have not been answered.
There are. And we are at episode 7, which means we have 3 more to go, correct?
Which is both exciting and terrifying because
I know. How much did you think that we were all going to lose our dear friend Captain Shaw there for a moment?
I was seriously worried this was
I thought we were going to lose Sydney.
Me too.
Because there was a point when one of the goons was dragging. I'm like, is he dragging into an airlock?
Yeah.
Like it looked like they might, and I'm very glad they didn't kill her off.
The only reason that I didn't think we were going to lose Sydney is because of the article in Emmy Magazine where Jonathan Frakes said that they've all talked about doing a next generation
right. Well,
show. And one of the people he listed in it was Sidney LaForge. So
right. And there's also, it's funny when Shaw fell down after being like having the tar beat out of him.
Right.
I was like, is he going to turn out to be a shapeshifter? But then it was like, that really disgusting flesh goo comes pouring out.
I know. They've definitely made the changelings more disgusting than they were.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually kind of thought that old amber stuff was kind of cool looking. I mean, that didn't bother me, but this is really like, I don't know, it's really gross.
So I going back, I just wonder if there's somebody in Starfleet who has got an axe to grind.
Right.
I don't know, but I mean, that's just a wild theory. Because I don't think it is changelings. I don't think it's the Jem'Hadar, because the Jem'Hadar were born to serve the Founder. They treated them.
I know. No, I was just speculating because of the shape of the face on that guy, that it does have a slightly almost reptilian quality to it. And I thought, well, maybe somehow or other, the Jem'Hadar found a way of flipping it on the changelings. Maybe. And now are in the pilot seat. But I don't know. That's just a wild theory.
If I had to make my bets now,
and
I understand I'm not entirely confident in this bet,
right?
But if I had to make a bet now, my money is that this is all Lore's plan. Lore was in charge of Daystrom's Institute Space Station.
Station.
He was in charge of, or excuse me, the AI was that whatever it was Data's body there. That was Well, no, I think Moriarty was a creation by Data. As I don't think Moriarty was really in charge of security. I think Moriarty was just a construct created by Data.
Could be.
Because the thing is, like, he was in this central room, and he was kind of, but he was not activated.
Right.
They didn't activate him until they got back to the Titan.
I think that he was just a lovely red herring to throw in the trailer. I mean,
but again, presumably they didn't walk out of engineering,
right,
and leave back on board Titan. They didn't walk out of engineering and leave the construct. I don't know what to call the construct now. We'll call the construct Delore for now.
Okay.
They didn't leave the Delore body active. I mean, there was a point they actually shut him down.
Right.
And yet he still managed to come back to life and take over.
Well, that was
because
of Sung. Sung put elements of
No,
lore.
I mean aboard Titan. Aboard Titan, they're doing the conversation with Picard,
right?
Where we've got Data and Lore flipping back and forth while talking to Picard.
Yeah.
Where Data's talking to Geordi, and then all of a sudden Lore comes in and says how disgustingly old Picard is.
Right.
And yet it goes on long enough that eventually, Picard tells Geordi, or Geordi tells somebody to shut Lore down. And so they shut Delore down. And so Delore presumably is shut down, and yet he still managed to take over the Titan.
Right. Yeah, I mean, they think they have control because all they're doing is activating his cognitive functions, but clearly he's able to work around that.
Yeah. So he's able to work around it, which means if he's able to work around it on Titan, presumably he was able to work around that on Daystrom
Station. But why? But why would he stay there? Why wouldn't he leave?
I
don't know. Well, the body looks like it's kind of locked in place there.
I guess, but I'm just saying I don't know. I'm not saying Lore is a red herring, but I don't think he's the main villain. And I don't think he's the one giving the orders. Although,
you don't think he's the handler. That's what you're saying. Which
I
don't think he is either.
If I had to make my bets now, I would say Lore is the handler. If I had to make my bets now,
well, we have one.
What I know now.
Yeah, we've got one Lore. I'll have to create a little graphic.
Yes,
but call it a Lore with a question mark, because I'm not entirely confident in this theory. This theory has got holes in it.
It's like me with my Jem'Hadar thing. I'm just shooting spitballs. I have no idea.
Yeah, but I think we can agree that it is not another changeling.
That's my main point. I think we're all in agreement.
I agree. It's not another changeling.
Yep. That is very true. So do we have predictions for where we're going to go in episode 8?
Well, I think we're going to finally see what I hope they're going to finally reveal what Jack is.
Mm-hmm. They'd almost have to by that point.
Yeah, because they've really been
where they dropped the end. I mean, yeah.
I think a bunch of people are going to die. Not necessarily our heroes, but I think some of the skeleton crew left aboard are going to get, get a little.
Are going to get red-shirted?
Yeah, they're going to get red-shirted.
You think we're going to lose that the Deltan?
I hope not,
because I know that you've seen in Jack's vision her being terrified, and
I don't know,
going to get killed on the bridge. So
there's I feel like we have these like disparate puzzle pieces and none of them sort of connect.
Yeah, and we can't forget the fact that Captain Vadic, that her face has some of those windy, twisty, veiny things on it too.
Well, remember they said they had this ability that they have to replicate people more completely, shortens their lives, and they're always in pain. So
yes,
right.
So they, they're taking, they're getting the superpowers, but there's a expiration date.
Right.
So
Right.
And they're all, and this is all tied into Frontier Day, and we still don't know. There's supposed to be like this big parade of starships through the Sol system.
There's a question I have for you guys. So it sounded to me, we all know that Jean-Luc is a wanted man.
Yes.
A person of interest, if nothing else. But his theory is that they're going to put his duplicate in to perform his role at the ceremony. That's what I got out of what he was saying.
Right. That's what he seems to think.
So I guess it's not publicly known that he and Riker and company.
No, I doubt it. I doubt it. I think it's all being sort of kept under wraps.
Okay.
I don't think there's like a all points bulletin, across the Federation for.
It's just when you have that many ships chasing around after you, one would think that it would get out, but maybe not.
Somebody on one of those ships would question why is Picard giving the keynote speech, whatever speech it is,
right?
And why is someone who's just giving a speech so damn important anyway?
Unless it's let's go and think about Prodigy a little bit for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
The idea in Prodigy was that there was this computer system that would make all the Federation ships attack each other and destroy each other, and that would wipe out the whole fleet. So you're looking at something potentially that is that kind of a thing.
Right.
Because the reason that having every ship in Starfleet parading like North Korea down the street is the reason that's a threat is if they somehow or other can get control of those ships and use them in a negative way. And so maybe it's something similar to what we saw in Prodigy.
Well, they've already mentioned that the ships are linked.
Right.
And, that's why they.
Oh my God! The handler is the diviner.
I hope not.
No. No.
I mean, getting the ships to shoot at each other seems very much like a thing a computer AI would be good at. Seems very much like the thing lore would be good at. I mean, so it feels like a lore plan, except. And it feels like it might be a lore plan that he's been trying to put together in place for a long time in alliance with the changelings.
Right.
But then you're right. Leo asked a good question. Why did they, not just take Dolores' body?
Yeah.
When they captured, instead just took Picard's body.
Right.
And I still don't understand how, even if what you were saying is true, where your thought that, we're getting the ships to shoot each other. I don't know how a guy giving a keynote speech helps that plan along.
Unless hey, wait a minute. Remember, all of the ships, no one watched Battlestar Galactica and Starfleet, all of the ships are linked.
Yes.
And Locutus was the leader of a hive mind. Okay?
Oh, ooh.
So if Jean-Luc has some elements of Locutus still in him, maybe he is the central hub that could, because of a hive mind type situation, make a whole bunch of shit happen. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like we don't have enough information, but that's as good a guess as any.
Yeah, it's fun anyway. If we throw enough shit out, if something will stick to the wall. So yeah.
Although it's interesting, the handler, the flaming skull that is like.
Let's call him Ghost Rider for now on.
Yeah, we'll call him Ghost Rider. Yeah.
Doesn't talk like a Borg. It talks like a person.
No, that's very true.
So
that's very true. Although so did the Borg Queen.
Well, also like what happened to Agnes Girardi, the new Borg Queen.
Yeah, right.
Who seemed to be, come with her
they
space
were
vagina,
all wiggly and helpful now.
Yeah, it does feel like we we've seen the Borg. I'm not sure. Well, it could be the Borg. I don't know. I feel like we're just let's talk about wild speculations.
We're just crazy with ideas. You know what? You see, I feel like what we're doing here.
Yeah.
What psychics do. We're just going to throw out a whole bunch of predictions, and if one of them comes true, we'll go. See, I was right. I predicted that. Give me money. I'll tell you what the next lottery number.
Yeah, it's Star Trek Gene Dixon forecasts.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my. Anyway, all right. You know what? We are at 10 minutes to the end. Let's sort of wrap this up. Any last minute thoughts on the episode, gents?
Oh God.
I feel like I just did my last minute thoughts.
Well, I think we kind of did.
There were things that were bugging me. The seeming reluctance of the changelings to use the transporters, but you're right. Then they did use transporters.
Right.
I want to know what the hell Jack is.
Right. I know.
I don't know.
Hopefully we'll find that out next week.
I know that bothered you.
And I still don't. I think the Borg angle is a pretty good one because we have talked about even always going back to like the first episode with Shaw and his prejudice against Borg.
Right.
So
the Borg has to come into this somehow.
I'm thinking you're right. I'm thinking the fact that Picard's got Borg crap in him.
Yeah, I mean that was so. Yeah, you have all of that, which we've sort of let slide now because Shaw and Seven sort of had a little reconciliation, and clearly Shaw's getting to recognize that Picard's not quite as bad as he thought, and so on and so forth. But that seed that was dropped at the beginning, it would be a shame if they let it drop, or if it was for nothing, because there was just too big an element for the first few episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So I really do think we're going to somehow or other get some Borg action in here based on that. That also is part of where my theory comes from.
I think that makes I think that makes a great deal of sense.
We'll see. We shall see. We shall see.
Although I did notice, by the way, Shaw still calls Seven Hansen.
Oh yeah, sure. Well, he's more comfortable with that. Yeah. I think in some ways Shaw thinks that she should be comfortable with that too.
Yeah,
I think that he thinks that because she was brought back from being a Borg, she should be happy to be thought of as her human self.
Well, I'm hoping that at some point.
Yes,
it's not. I'm hoping at some point Shaw grows enough to call her Seven, and because it's not, as Lee just put it, it's not his choice.
I think we'll see that, but
okay.
Yeah, especially if there's a Shaw series in the works.
God, really possible. So. I'm really enjoying Shaw.
Yeah, there is. It would be great. It would be grand. All right. Leo, any last minute thoughts?
No, I just, I'm enjoying it. I want to see more of it. I just, I feel like there's, with now Jack's new psychic abilities, I'm like, any theories I had before are invalid because, the Beta Zeds have telepathy and sort of Vulcans in a different way.
Right.
There've been other alien, Telosians. I don't know. Like,
yeah.
I
don't know. It's interesting. I think we can all agree that we're most probably going to see something new, which would be cool.
It would be, and I'm curious to see where it goes next.
Yeah. I'm a little sorry we didn't get to see any more Worf.
Although Worf is coming back, so Worf and Rafi may be able to come to the rescue somehow.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, Worf did say he's out looking for
Riker.
For Riker,
so maybe he'll liberate him and Deanna from the shrike.
Right. Well, I mean, that is the thing. If they could gain the upper hand with Vadic at that point, they know where to find him. I mean, unless he's not there anymore.
I would imagine he's probably still on the Shrike.
Yeah, I would think so, but I don't know. Yeah. All right, gents. Once again, I want to remind you that if you're just new to the program and you're just watching it tonight for the first time and you had a good time with us, please make sure that you like and subscribe to us, especially on YouTube. That helps the program quite a bit with our algorithms. And also, if you hit the bell, then you'll never forget when a new episode of Trek Tonight is coming up.
Yeah.
And also, again, I beseech you to check out our Patreon page. We have all sorts of different levels that people can enter in and support the program. And you get all kinds of neat little bonuses for doing so. Excuse me. And that would really help us out too. And it would help us grow what our program is, which is what we're always working on. So, gents, wow, 5 minutes. Anything you want to talk about in 5 minutes?
Nothing about this show. I don't want to talk about my personal life on this.
Yeah, you know what it is. You know what it is? This was a rabbit hole free program, except for talking about the TV commercial. That's why we've got 5 minutes to go.
Yeah, we didn't get distracted.
No, we didn't get lost on some twisty, windy,
but
wimey thing.
This was an interesting because it really comes down to like how badly do they want to win. It feels like a TNG episode they would have come up with a moral solution,
right?
Like a clever moral solution to address this.
Exactly.
But it feels like the Federation's hands. Not all of Federation or all of Starfleet. Greg says 3 episodes left. Yes. Yep. But what Section 31 did is fucked up. It's bad, objectively bad. And they have a right to be annoyed, but annoyed seems like I'm understanding, but right to hate Starfleet.
They're miffed.
They're
peeved.
Yeah.
Peeved. Yeah. But also, she's like, well, you attacked first. You'd be like, you ruin every planet. Then she's our planet because of the disease. But honestly, if the Dominion had tried to be like, have diplomatic relations and not just, this empire that they built.
Right.
They could argue that they had peace and prosperity under their rule, but at what cost? At the cost of personal freedoms, at the cost of choice.
Right.
So their moral, high ground is not as stable as they would, I think, like to believe.
Right. Right. But, on the other hand, somebody was doing some nasty stuff.
Oh, yeah. No.
Clearly, on the Federation's dime. So, yeah. Interesting. Interesting, though, how... Okay, so I'm gonna jump franchises for a second and say we know that there are people who have not been happy with the idea that the New Republic is not all squeaky clean and great.
Yeah,
but it's funny how Star Trek fans don't seem to have a problem at all with the idea that the Federation has done some nasty shit.
I would challenge that. Some do.
Oh, really? Okay.
There is a group, we know one personally, who does not watch, who finds watching, I'm going to use the phrase new Trek, a challenge because he does not like how morally gray
gotcha.
The Federation has been portrayed.
I think if we're talking about the same person, he didn't like it in Star Wars either.
He didn't like it in Star Wars either. So. And he's not alone though. He's not alone.
I know. Yeah. No, I know he's not alone.
A lot of people take exception to that, but it's also there is a real tradition of higher ups in Starfleet and the Federation of being morally compromised.
Hey, listen, it goes all the way back. It goes pretty much almost back to TOS.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Not that their admirals were bad, but a lot of them.
They're the Commodores on TOS.
The Commodores tended to really not know what the heck they were doing. It's like somehow or other you get to the rank of Commodore and half your strategy and brain gets sucked out because,
Commodore Decker was, driven mad through grief and guilt.
Right.
He also, was like, I'm gonna use the Enterprise and blow this thing up, and they're like,
Right.
well, you didn't do it last time.
Right,
You think you could do it this time?
Yeah.
So, and there was the other Commodore who took command when Kirk was off the ship, and clearly been flying a desk for a number of years and was sort of, but both in TNG we saw a lot of compromised admirals, like the one from the episode, was it the Pegasus, where that was the ship that was the Riker's first ship, and they were trying to come up with the cloaking device.
Yes, promoted to the level of your incompetence. Yeah, that's what Greg Libben said.
Well, that's about right.
Yes.
So we've seen some admirals who've been compromised in TNG and also in DS9. So it's. Yeah, I don't think it's not like there's no precedent.
Well, and then let's look at the Star Trek movies and go to Undiscovered Country.
Yeah,
there was a whole subgroup of people that didn't want things to change.
No,
they didn't want us to become friends with the Klingons.
And the Klingons, and they were working with Klingons the same way.
Yeah,
you'd be like they were happy in a state of sort of unrest.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
well, but Star Trek is ultimately about progress and change, and I think, hopefully, we'll see something of that nature in this. When they wrap this all up.
Yeah,
what's going to happen? I haven't the slightest idea.
That's very true. Hopefully, we'll see some progress and change in the state of Florida. Anyway, we are coming. Ooh, did I get political? I
just need to burn enough books. That's all.
What is this? What? Can Keith Jacobson, Craig, and I all be guests for the finale? That is a great idea. Yeah, I can get like 20 people on this thing. But that is a great idea, Angela. Maybe we should do that. Maybe we should
do a big round table for
a big giant round table discussion.
I'm in for that.
Yeah. With the surprise guest of Captain Shaw. Wink. Any rate, that would be great. I think it's a great.
Hey, I mean, between Angela and Leo, we can get Stashwick, right?
Oh, I would hope so.
I
think Stashwick is probably pretty busy at the moment, but I would love to have him on the show at some point.
Yeah, it would be great. We could do if we could maybe do a pre-taped interview for
whatever. Yeah, whatever would be great. Mike Robbins says, "Hey, I want to come to the party too." Yeah, let's just have everybody. Why not? We'll fill
our entire audience on the screen.
Yeah, everybody. There'll be no one left in the comments because they'll all be on the show. I would love to, Mike. I'd love to have you on the show sometime.
Yeah,
that's not a problem at all. I would be delighted to have you on the show. Someday we'll hear from Cliff Diamond again. I don't know. He's global traveler that he is. He's not been available, but Cliff was actually supposed to be part of a couple of these episodes, and he's just been busy. So, which is great. That's fine. Anywho, oh my goodness. Now we've talked our way over the 1 hour.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go. I knew we could do it. I knew we could break the 1 hour mark. Any rate, guys. Hey, Keith, thanks again, as always, for being here. I know you were kind of stressing about it, but it's always a delight to have you here. Like I said,
believe me, this is not what I was stressing about.
No,
there were
other
things going on that I was stressing about, not this.
But I really do mean it. What I said to you earlier, which is there's some people that could have seen it 20 times, and you only seen half an episode. And I think some of your comments would be better. So it's always fantastic to have you on the show. Leo, great to see you again.
Yes.
Hopefully we'll get a chance to talk or do something this Saturday.
Yes.
Maybe it would be nice because we haven't really done that properly in a while. And the most of that's my fault. So at any rate, all right, guys, I'm going to roll us out of here. And let's see. Here we go. Hopefully it's the right one. Yeah, go. Why is it not going? What is going on?
I don't know.
It's supposed to be the outro. Well, we'll do it again. Add to the stream.
And we're back. Now we're away again. And rolling.
I don't know why I can't hear anything.
I don't hear
Where
anything
is it?
either.
That's nothing.
It's just the inky blackness.
Inky blackness of space. So, at any rate, I don't know what's going on there, guys. It's weird. I've never seen that happen before.
He's going to shred me when I'm.
Yeah.
You think I was an asshole when I knocked your book off the counter? Wait till you see what's going to happen next.
This is supposed to be it. Okay, here we go. Oh well.
Hey, it worked.
Hey, folks, have a great week. We love you all. We're so glad you're here. Live long and prosper. And we will see you next Wednesday.